As all this tragedy unfolds, we ask, what are world leaders doing? Since the October 7th attack, you've seen a flurry of activity, leaders making calls, flying all over the world, Western leaders going to Israel, one after the other. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, and of course US President Joe Biden, all of them went to Israel and met with Netanyahu. Next in line is the French president. Reports say Emmanuel Macron too plans to go to Israel. It's a diplomatic carnival. But what has it achieved? It's all well and good to show solidarity, but what about actual solutions? Biden returned to the US after a trip that had to be cut short. Initially, he was supposed to meet both Netanyahu and Arab leaders, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, and Jordan's King Abdullah II. But he couldn't. All of these meetings were called off.
In the face of this tragedy that occurred tonight, and in order to protect our people, I have decided to cut short my visit and return to my homeland to be among my people in this great ordeal. I have also agreed with our brothers in Jordan and Egypt to cancel the scheduled summit in Amman today with US President Joe Biden. Numerous international decisions have been taken to protect our people, but they have not been implemented because America does not want to enforce them.
Abbas was talking about the blast at the Al-Ahli hospital in Gaza. That attack scuppered any chances of talks. No Arab leader would be caught dead talking to Biden after that. So the US president had to go home. And he made it worse by the clumsy statements that he made last night. Listen to this.
Hamas and Putin represent different threats, but they share this in common. They both want to completely annihilate a neighboring democracy, completely annihilate it. Hamas' stated purpose for existing is the destruction of the state of Israel and the murder of Jewish people. Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people. Hamas uses Palestinian civilians as human shields, and innocent Palestinian families are suffering greatly because of them. Meanwhile, Putin denies Ukraine has or ever had real statehood. American leadership is what holds the world together. That's why tomorrow I'm going to send to Congress an urgent budget request to fund America's national security needs, to support our critical partners, including Israel and Ukraine.
Biden compared what's happening in Israel to Russia and Ukraine. This was his way of asking for about $100 billion from the US Congress. $100 billion for security, he says. But let's look at what's actually going to happen. That colossal amount, if he gets it, is going to be spent on war machines. The US is going to keep villainizing Russia, refusing to work with Moscow even for common interests, like protecting the Palestinians. All this money is going to go into conflict, not peace, not diplomacy, but in weapons. So what has Biden's trip to Israel really achieved? Not de-escalation, not diffusing the threat of a wider conflict, not even aid yet. And now the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is trying his luck. He's meeting the Egyptian president today, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. This is to figure out a way to get aid going from Egypt into Gaza. Biden said that he held talks about that and that aid delivery was supposed to start today. But perhaps Sunak needs to give it one more push. Now, we'd like to believe that it's all a noble effort, but honestly, it also reeks of opportunism. Our Western leaders playing to domestic galleries, pretending to be strongmen on the front lines, but unable to deliver more than a few trucks full of food. They'll spend public funds on arms packages, but they won't sit at the table to find a long-term solution, like with the United Nations yesterday. Where is the room for diplomacy? We are steadily heading back to a world of might makes right.